Okay guys, welcome back. 14.2, pretty exciting. Overhead squats, chest to bar pull-ups, no big deal. Ascending ladder becomes a big deal. Just like last week, we're gonna break this down. We're gonna start with the warm-up. It should go without saying that you need to get your heart rate high. Guys, the goal of the warm-up is to prep your nervous system and to prep your cardiorespiratory system, those energy systems, get them ready. So what do you need to do? Get your heart rate high, get breathing heavy, get sweaty. You should know how to do this. Go on the rower, go on the air dyne, do little interval work, nothing that's gonna fatigue you, but you need to make sure you're warm. Specifically, these movements, shoulders, both in the overhead squat and on the chest to bar pull-up, you need to make sure they're ready. There's no niggles that will limit you in the way. Hips, both for the chest to bar pull-ups, for the opening of the hip, whether you do butterfly or normal kip, but also for the overhead squat, of course. For some of you, it's gonna be tough. The other piece for the overhead squat is gonna be the ankles. That's maybe the biggest limiter of your capacity in the overhead squat. It's gonna be A, your shoulders, but B, it's going to be your ankle range of motion. So make sure you're gonna get those ankles warm. Now, when we talk about mobility prep, we talk about shoulders, the upper back, the hips, the ankles. You can do a bunch of stuff for this. We're gonna keep it simple. Focus on the overhead position. That's gonna be obviously both in the pull-up and in the overhead squat. Focus on the top position of the chest to bar so that you don't have to reach for the bar and you don't have to fight against your own tissues in this position. When we get to further down, you're gonna tackle the upper back. Obviously, both for the overhead squat, if you're stiff, it's gonna be hard, but also on the chest to bar in both positions, it's gonna make your life difficult if you're stiff on the thoracic spine. Hips, that's obviously gonna be a big piece for the overhead squat if you have difficulties, but also for the extension on the keeping pull-up, both for the butterfly and for the normal one. And then finally, you wanna go after your ankles. Like I said, it's the biggest limiting factor for your overhead squat. Make sure they're well mobilized. We're gonna show all that, and also this little piece called 27 squats to get you ready for the workout in the mobility prep video afterwards. Now, as far as setup is concerned, it's really simple. You have a rig, you have a barbell, keep them close, okay? You don't wanna be running between the two. You might think you wanna get extra rest between the two objects. Guys, if you need the rest, rest. Don't make it into a race to the barbell in case you're running tight on time in the end, okay? Now, specifically for the movements, the overhead squat. This is not gonna be the biggest piece for you guys, for most of us. It's gonna be the chest to bar pull-up, but think about it. Lifting shoe, for sure. You get more stability, increase that heel height a little bit, you get more range of motion. Easy, you wanna have a lifting shoe on. Grip. Now there's a couple ideas here. If you have good shoulder mobility, you wanna go narrow because it's an easier position to maintain for your wrists and for your shoulders. Now, if you are stiff on the shoulders, you might need to go wide, but that's going to cost you on the wrist. If you're worried about not snatching it up, if you have a narrow grip, that clean and jerk, clean and press is not going to take you that long to get ready for the position. You can even snatch it with a narrow grip if you think it's really going to make the difference in the later rounds. And again, if you start narrow, you can always go wider afterwards. You might want to think that this grip is not the same grip as for your chest to bar pull-ups. If you're using the same grip with the narrow one, you're gonna burn out in that one pattern. So make sure that you have different grips available for these movements. Now, slow down, fast up. It's basically just the pace on the overhead squat. A lot of people rush down on the overhead squat, they scramble a little bit to get up. Slow it down, fast up. It doesn't mean super slow, it's just a little slower pace up, down, little faster pace up. It's gonna keep you going, maintain that good position. The chest to bar pull-up, this is the piece, guys. This is where it's made. Now, first the grip. Different than your overhead squat grip. So I would keep my normal grip on the chest to bar and vary the overhead squat grip because it's not as important piece for most of us. It could be for you, but for most of us not. Couple cues that will help you. Delay the arms. A lot of us pull too early, you burn out the arms. When you think it's too late, delay the arms a little more and then pull your chest to bar. Now, that being said, the cue is not chest to bar, it should be bar to chest. It's gonna lead to a better position in here, allows you for longer or more reps to be done in that set. So think bar to chest, not chest to bar. Feet tight. If you're doing a butterfly, your feet can spread as you go back, the back position, as long as your knees are relatively straight. But when you get back up, you want to scoop those feet back together, so they might go wide and then they go back together, wide, back together. That's going to be fine. Wide in the front as you kick up is going to be very inefficient. You're going to lose your rhythm. Final word on the grip. If you need to mix the grip, no problem with that at all. Okay, start normal grip. I even like to do chin-up grip, chest to bar pull-ups, just because it changes it up a little bit for me. I'm hitting different muscle groups, so it might be worth changing that grip quite early on. Now, let's talk about pacing. You want to break the chest to bars real early. For most of us, we think we're going in hotter than we are, and we're going to not break them in the first or the second set, and it's going to cost you on the third one. You go close to that failure, it's going to be really hard to come back. So, a couple options here. You could go just 5 and 5, even splits from the beginning. Go 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 8, even if you can. Or you could start to break it down like this. This is on the rounds of 8 reps. You go 7, 5, 4. Okay, so you get to that 16. 7, 5, 4 again. That's an option for you. If you think you're the ninja, you're the man, you're the girl, you could go for a big set first, like a 10. You could go even 10, 10, 12, 12, but that's probably going to cost you. We saw with Talena having a good strategy there. So 10, 5, 5, 12, 6, 6. That might be a good strategy moving up. 8, 6, and then even 4, 4, 4. Just break it down in different ways. Obviously, this one I did my math wrong and you wouldn't get enough reps, so you might want to add a couple more reps into that set, right? But the point is this. Find a plan that's going to work for you on the chest to bar. Break them down earlier than you think you have to. Jump off the bar, give your hands a little rest, jump back up. It's not worth tearing your hand for that one more rep. That break is going to be 2 seconds. So unless you're in the end and you have to go suicide pace, jump off the bar a little earlier than you think you have to. Go straight back in. Minimize the rest in between. And then finally, guys, overhead squats, if you can. These should be unbroken, okay? There's no point putting the bar down, resting. You're gonna waste a lot of time away from the chest to bars, and also you're not gonna feel better for putting the bar down. So just push through them for all you can. And remember that narrow grip is going to help you there as well. So that's some basic tips. Should get you started. There's more to come in the mobility prep. Stay tuned. Good luck, guys.